Well, I was on a road trip. I was coming back from travel. I drove all the way from Washington State to Florida by myself, and I had rented a van, and I was car camping all the way across, and I didn't really think anything much about Bigfoot, although in 2012 I found some prints, and I thought, gosh, those are big prints, and where did they come from? They were barefooted prints. And I called the BFRO, and they sent somebody out to meet me, and I showed them the prints, and they have a report on that.
Oh.
But that was in 2012, and I just didn't think anything else of it. I thought, maybe they exist, maybe they don't. I didn't really give it any thought. And then I was on my way home from out west, and I was already back in Florida, and I was on 98 coming I was heading east into Brooksville, and I think it was around 6:30 at night, and the sun was just fixing to set, and I looked in my rearview mirror how you always would, and it was a 2-lane road, and that's when I seen it stand up. It was squatted down in the side of the road where the swamp was, and it stood up and started walking across the road, and I look in my rearview mirror and I see it, and I'm thinking, there's no way I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing. And I just kept looking at it, and then I thought, these cars cresting this hill, they've got to see it. I know they've got to see it.
Yeah.
And I looked, when the cars crested the hill, I looked in my rearview mirror, and the thing ran. I mean, it booked it so fast into the pine forest side of the road. And after that, I was freaked out for like 3 months because, I thought maybe they exist. I went from thinking maybe they exist to now I know they exist. And I was freaked out, and then I started getting more and more interested in the subject and started looking into it and reading about it. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought, I got to get out there and start looking. So that's how I got started. And tonight I just want to go over to the sighting and show you guys where this thing came from, because it's a swampy area, and at the time I didn't realize it, but on the other side of that swamp is actually a city dump.
Oh.
So I think what was going on is he was coming back from that dump, or either from the water there to get water, and crossing the road to the other side. That's what I think was going on. But there's an area there where there's a quarry where you can stand at the top of it and look out over the area that he came from.
Cool.
So I want to show you all that and where I think he went into. You can kind of see how this is a little bit of a hill?
Yeah.
This road here? Well, see where that car is?
Right.
I was right about where that car is, and I looked in my rearview mirror and saw it crossing from this side to that side. And I looked to see the cars cresting this hill, thinking they're going to see it. They've got to see it. And when I looked in my rearview mirror, it booked it into this side.
So it was in the middle of the road? Or it was crossing it? And then
it was crossing the road, but see, I passed and I never saw it. So that means it was crouched down on this side in those woods there.
Yeah.
And then when I passed, there was no other cars, so it stood up to walk. But then these cars started cresting that hill right there, and it saw those cars, and it knew that those cars would see it, so it booked it into the woods then. This was in August of 2016. 6:30ish at night before sunset, but the sun was starting to kind of go down like it is now.
Look out, if you looked out into the distance over here,
right,
there's like a little lake or pond or something.
Yeah.
So
That's
probably
where I think he was coming from. And
yeah.
on the other side of that lake, all the way over, is a city dump. I didn't expect to look in my rearview mirror and see a Bigfoot. He was actually more of a reddish brown color, and he was thinner than I thought, and he was like about 7 foot. So I got the impression that he might have been like a teenager or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Teenager, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like not quite an adult yet, but because he wasn't filled out like I thought they would be. Mm-hmm. But he was definitely 7 foot or more.
Is that what got you into what you do now?
Yes.
This exact experience is what...
I mean, all my life I've heard about Bigfoot, and I thought, well, maybe. And I did find some prints before that I reported to the BFRO, in 2012, but I still didn't think that, I thought maybe, but I didn't really think so.
Yeah.
But this changed my whole world.